Hi, and welcome to today's live. Today's live is about a subject that really means a lot to me. It's about yoga and stress reduction. That's what got me to yoga in the first place. Years ago, I had, the whole usual thing. I was working, I was I had small children, so all of that put together got me to a point where my GP basically said, "Look, you know what? You need to do something. Go and try some yoga." So that's what I did, and I didn't look back. So that was 12 years ago. And what I found with yoga is that you probably some of you who come to my yoga classes or other yoga classes have noticed that it's really really relaxing, but we don't always know actually why it's that relaxing. And one thing that I've found is that yoga works at different levels. So I really wanted today to go over those different levels and to explain a little bit more on how yoga actually works at really helping us reduce our stress level. And the first thing that I'd like to mention is just the awareness of the present moment. I don't know if some of you know the writer Eckhart Tolle, who is the author of The Power of Now and A New Earth, both books which I highly, highly recommend. And he talks about the present moment and about the fact that when you are in the moment, you're not stressed. We produce our stress ourselves by either thinking of the past or by worrying about the future. If you fully are in the moment, there is no stress. And on a day-to-day basis, it's something that's quite difficult to maintain. We are all busy. We do one thing and then we're already planning stuff ahead, or we're worrying about what's going to happen the following day, or thinking back to something else that happened and thinking, oh, I should have done this differently. So being in the moment is actually a lot harder than it sounds. And yoga really helps, especially the balance postures. When you do a balance pose, you cannot balance if your mind is all over the place. So, I mean, we can try it now. If you want to just stand up, I'm going to move a little bit further so you can still see me. If you want to stand up and then come into a little tree pose, your shoulders are relaxed, tailbone is tucked under, tummy muscles is slightly pulled in, and you come just onto one foot. If you want, you can rest the other toes still on the mat. But just holding that, and you become aware of your body. Become aware of the contact of your feet with the mat. You become aware of the knees, of the legs. Feel the tummy muscles being gently pulled in. And feel that you're standing tall through the crown of your head. And just take a breath. And then we can do that to the other side. So relaxing that foot and coming onto the other foot. So just shifting the weight. And as I said, either taking that foot completely off the mat or just keeping it down as I'm doing now. I know you can't see it, but I'm keeping both my feet on the mat at the moment. And again, become aware of your legs, of your tummy muscles pulled in. And feel yourself stretching tall, like a beautiful tree, reaching up through the crown of the head. Take a breath. And then as you breathe out, relax. So that was just probably a minute, probably less. And just by doing that, that awareness to the moment, that awareness to the body, made that just that helps to calm the mind, helps to reduce the stress level because for a few moments you were fully in the present. There was no past, there was no future, you were just here. So that's the one thing. the first thing that yoga does for you in terms of stress reduction is keeping you in the present moment. So I highly recommend that if you're feeling a little bit stressed, try and do a mini tree, either outside or inside, and really feel into your body. It's that awareness of where you are at this moment. So if you don't feel like doing balancing, you can do a quick body scan, feeling the contact of your feet with the mat, becoming aware of the legs, of the spine, of the shoulders, of the head. And as you scan up and then down the body, you're taking your awareness in the moment, and that will reduce your stress level. So that was one, it's the awareness of the present moment. The second aspect of yoga that helps in reducing stress is the breathing. In any yoga move, in all of my yoga classes, I always invite my students to work with their breath, which means that you become more aware of the breath and you start to breathe a bit more deeply. You have a breath where the abdomen moves out. You breathe in, you feel your abdomen rising. And when you do that, it sends your nervous system a signal that it's okay to relax. So, by that breath awareness, it's another aspect of yoga that helps you calm down and reduce the stress. And one thing that we can try and that works really, really well and really easy is called the equal ratio breath. It's where you breathe in and you breathe out for the same length of time. So let's give this a try. If you take your shoulders back, you sit nice and tall. You can close your eyes, or you can just look ahead of you. And then breathe in. And feel your abdomen coming out a little bit as you breathe in. As you breathe out, feel it relax. And again, breathe in. Feel your abdomen expand and breathe out. Feel it relax. And now I'd like you to start counting. As you breathe in, count to 4. And as you breathe out, count to 4 again. And again, breathing in for a count of 4. And breathing out for a count of 4. Good. And one more round. And now come back to your normal breathing. And that's another thing that I really invite you to do. Just that quiet breath, counting. By counting, again, you focus on the breath, you focus on the moment, and that will help reducing any stress that you might feel. Another aspect of yoga that, of course, helps in reducing the stress is releasing the physical tension. Because stress originates in the mind, but then has got very much of a physical impact. I mean, we've all felt it. You've got the shoulders tight, the neck really stiff, you've got a knot in the stomach, you've got pain in the back, pain in the joints. All of that stiffness comes from the stress. The stress, when we're stressed, we've got hormones going around our body that basically send us into our fight, flight, freeze nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, and that's the moment where all of our body is on alert to try and get away from a threat. Except that here usually there are no immediate threat, it's more of a long-term, continuous level of stress, which means that our body stays on alert for quite a long time, and that in times creates stiffness and tension. And yoga, just by the movements, will release that tension, that stiffness. So again, there's movements that are really easy to do to release that, and that you can do at any time. We're going to try a couple. One of them is a twist, and the other one is the spinal wave. So I'll just come up and show you. So for the twist, if you stand comfortably with the feet about hip width apart, shoulder width apart, and we're going to start to twist. And you let your arms wrap around your lower back. So you don't need to get the yoga mat out, you don't even need to be in yoga clothes, I'm not. I'm actually wearing jeans, so that shows you that you can do that in wearing normal clothes, as it were. It doesn't have to be sports clothes or yoga gear. And you just let the arms float around the lower back. And then we're going to take that up, slowly coming up, reaching behind the shoulders. Good. And as you do that, just feel your spine. It's stretching, it's lengthening, you've got less tension. Lovely. It's easing off all of that tension that you can have in the spine. And then we're going to start to take that down. Good. Lovely. Relaxing the arms. Coming to hip width apart. I'm going to move my chair for this one, otherwise you won't see me. And if you take your hands in your lower back, like this, to protect it, then we can very gently push the hips and the chest forward and look up. And then as you breathe out, come down. And you want your back to be roughly parallel to the floor. That's it. And then we'll bend the knee and we'll anchor. And you breathe out to come down. You bend the knees, you breathe into anchor. And again, this one, you really don't need to get the mat and the yoga clothes out if you don't have the time. If you feel that there's some tension in the spine, in the back, you can do the twist and then you can do this little spinal wave. And that's going to do an awful lot to just release all of that physical tension. So that's another thing that yoga does for you. It's one of the very obvious ones. It releases the physical tension. One thing which might not be as obvious is that it also releases a lot of emotional tension. And emotional tension, we tend to carry it, and sometimes we're not aware of it. It's those negative emotions that, weigh us down like a little grey cloud. It's the negative self-talk that kind of goes round and round and round like a broken record and tells you things that you could really are not helpful. And yoga can help you ease away from all of those negative emotions and negative self-talk. So in a yoga class, it's done by, again, awareness of the present moment. It's done by affirmations and by visualizations. And there are also some very specific movements that help to release negative emotions. Anything that stretches the hips and that stretches the heart will help you shift from a negative point of view, a negative place, to a more positive one. So we're going to try one today, which is called the Anahata breath, so the heart breath. So if you stand or if you sit with your shoulders back, and we're going to take the hands at the level of the heart. Okay, I'm going to stand that way so you can actually see me a bit better. So we've got the hands at the level of the heart, and we're going to breathe in to take the hands in, and then breathe out to just push away. So you're breathing in, you feel your heart open, and you breathe out and you push away. And you can imagine that you're breathing in a sense of calm and peace. And as you breathe out, just release any kind of negativity, negative emotion, anything that you feel is kind of weighing you down a little bit. Just breathing that out and replacing it by something a lot more positive and peaceful. And just doing that for a few breaths, finishing as you breathe in that positive energy, positive feelings, and then breathe out to relax. Good. So again, that doesn't take long, and that's really good as something that you can do at home to kind of try and shift your way of thinking. Because that's what yoga has done for me over the past few years, is that it's helped me develop tools that I can use at home to make myself feel better and happier and less stressed. So these are 4 for you that I invite you to try at home. So try and bring your attention to the present moment by doing a little balance or by doing a body scan. Focus on your breath. Make sure they're nice deep breaths that involve the diaphragm, the abdomen. And try the equal ratio breath, where you breathe in and breathe out for the same length of time. Do some movement, as I said, twist, and the little spiral wave is really, really good to release the physical tension. And then use the breath and some visualization to ease off the negative emotion and fill yourself with something a lot more positive and a lot better for you, basically. So there we go. This is it for today. Those are those 4 little tools. I hope that you're going to find them helpful, like they've been helping me a lot. Now in lockdown or before, they've been supporting me for a long time. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you want to know anything more about classes, workshops, you can have a look at my website, treelightyoga.com. Otherwise, keep checking the Facebook page. That's where I post my events, and I try and be there every Thursday afternoon with a little live like today. Okay. So thank you very much. Lots of love. Bye. And this is where the thing goes on.